One Piece chapter 1001 is around the corner, and it's time to have a bit of a speculation slash discussion on what could be coming next. Now, chapter 1000 ended up with a very high panel of Luffy finally landing his Red Rock attack on Kaido. That attack clearly did some damage, or at least it had some effect, because Kaido and Big Mom's reactions were pretty shocking. Now, of course, this is not going to be enough to do anything to Kaido in the long run. It's just a warning shot, you could say. And Luffy has declared in front of both of them that he's going to surpass them and become the king of the pirates. It was a hype ending for chapter 1000. And in this video, we're going to discuss a little bit of predictions slash speculation of what we can expect going forward into chapter 1001. Now, the easiest thing to predict would be that chapter 1001 would be a probably a full-on fight chapter between Kaido, Big Mom, and the Supernova, because we already have started the confrontation between the Supernova and the Yonko, and it would be kind of a disappointment if we took away from that without having seen a little bit more of that fight. So I do expect to see a little bit more of a fight between the Supernova and the Yonko in chapter 1000. At least the first half of that chapter, I expect it to be a full-on fight between these two. Now, in this fight, I do expect Luffy and the Supernova to have the upper hand in the first part of the fight. Usually that's the pattern that a lot of fight scenes in the shonen, in One Piece especially, follows. Usually the villain, the hero, does do a little bit of damage, or the good guys do a little bit of attack on the villains for the first, and then they're toned down and then they're brought down. For example, the Scabbards, when the Scabbards attacked Kaido, they did have a bit of an upper hand at first. It was kind of shocking that these guys were doing this much damage, but then everything went underhill, everything overturned, and Kaido thrashed them. So I expect a similar situation where Luffy, Kid, Zoro, all of these guys are going to jump the Yonko and they're going to do a bit of a damage, and then things are going to take a drastic turn. We don't know how much of that we'll see in chapter 1000, but I do expect to see a bit of that fight. Now, leaving aside the fights, which obviously is very exciting, it's going to happen, we'll see that. I hope it doesn't get off screen. To be honest, if it gets off screen, this is going to be very disappointing. A lot of people are going to be furious. So this fight, every bit of this fight has to be shown, every bit of this fight has to be seen. So let's hope none of it gets off screen. Now, moving apart from the fight, let's move on to what I like, because while fights are very interesting and all, I like the story aspect of One Piece. A lot of things are going on right now in Onigashima, which is very important. Now, Ace and Yamato's flashback is pretty much done. I don't expect any more of that to happen ever again, because it had a beautiful ending. Ace got the viewer card, and Yamato found out that he's dead. I don't think there's any more to that flashback, and we can rest easy that that's done. The remaining is where we saw Yamato hand over Oden's journal to Momonosuke. Now, we could see that going somewhere where Momonosuke gets to read the journal and see what it is, what's the secret of the will of D, probably, or anything else that's very important to this journey. So we could see that in the future, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Yamato has done her job of handing over Oden's journal to Oden's son. I think that was a very important moment, and I think that's done for now. As for Nami is currently riding on Komainu along with Otama. Otama seems to have a plan of some sort, and Nami is going along with that plan. So we're going to expect to see a little bit of what that plan is. There's a lot of theories that Otama probably brought along with her a lot of smile users from Udon and all the others that she collected and she tamed. So she probably brought them, and that's what she meant by coming on an enemy ship. She came on an enemy ship by using those smile users that she tamed with her devil fruit, so that Kaido's officers and other people did not suspect anything was wrong, because those are smile users on that ship. So anyway, I expect that she has an army of smile users somewhere, and she's going to use them or something like that, something of that sort, or some something to do with her kibidangos plus Usopp, sniping skills. That's what something a lot of people are predicting, that Otama will give Usopp her Kibidango, and Usopp is going to snipe it right into people's mouths, and she's going to tame pretty much the entire Smile army. Now that would be kind of disappointing, but a lot of people are predicting that. Regardless, that is one thing that we can see a little bit more progress into. Another important thing would be a fight between Jinbei and Who's Who. Now, we've been teased about this fight, and there's some history between Who's Who and Jinbei, so it would be kind of disappointing to see everything get off screen again. Now, I do understand that Oda cannot go over each and every single fight, because if he does that, this is going to take a long time to end. So I do expect a lot of major fights to get off screen, but Jinbei versus Who's Who is a little bit of an important fight because they do have a history, and we need to know what that history is. So I would expect to see some of that. There's also this fight between Sasaki and Franky. We don't know how that's going to end up. There's even more important fight is going on between Sanji and Black Maria. Now, how is he ever going to get out of that situation? I don't know. But at this point, I'm kind of tired of Sanji, a very capable and important fighter, being completely useless against a woman. Like, they knew his weakness to the point where they actually trapped him. They made a skit to actually trap him. So at this point, Sanji needs to get his head together, and he needs to get out of the situation himself. It would be really disappointing if once again there's someone like Nami or Robin rushes in to save him. That would be really disappointing, because how long are we going to keep this gag going? He needs to find a way to, overcome this weakness. He doesn't necessarily have to beat up Black Maria. For example, Usopp came up with a lot of creative solutions when he didn't have to fight against Perona. He pretty much traumatized her into fainting. The same thing with Sugar. Sugar was a little girl, and beating up a little girl wouldn't be something that's acceptable in manga. So Oda came up with a very creative way for Usopp to defeat Sugar. The same way Sanji could come up with something creative to overcome this weakness once and for all, because every single arc we are facing a situation like this. It was Khalifa, then we had Pudding, then we had Viola, then right now we have Black Maria. In the future we're gonna have plenty more. So at this point, Sanji has to grow up. That's all I gotta say about the Sanji situations, and I do hope that we see that and we don't get everything doesn't get off screen again. Now, another very important thing that's going on is, of course, Chopper. Chopper right now is going to create the medications, and Chopper is going to heal everyone with his antiviral thingy. He's going to clean everyone of the Ice Oni virus. Now, this is very interesting part, because there's already a kind of a distrust of the organization. Like, what I mean is, the Beast Pirates who got infected by the Oni virus, they were having second thoughts. They listened to Chopper, and Chopper declared that he's going to cure everyone, both enemy and ally. So they had an opinion where they wanted to get healed. So they were starting to turn against Queen. And Queen, of course, edged them on, and he said, he's not going to heal you, go kill him, things like that. But you could already see the hint that these guys are willing to turn against the Beast Pirates. So if Chopper does indeed cure them, will they turn against the Beast Pirates? Will they aid Straw Hat Pirates, the Alliance, and betray the Beast Pirates? That is a huge possibility, because even Apu at this point is completely made a joke. Queen has made a joke of Apu, and Apu will be executed by what Queen said. He's lost the antibody, and he's going to get executed. So his only option right now is also to side with the Alliance and betray the Beast Pirates. So how much of this is going to happen? That's one of the very interesting parts for me, because ideologically speaking, Kaido and Big Mom are very different. Big Mom trusts only her bloodline, so she doesn't allow anyone else to serve her directly. Only her bloodline. She only trusts family bonds, and she only makes alliances using marriage. So she's a very cautious woman, but at the same time, she is willing to bring new allies into her fold. For example, Beige. She was willing to trust Beige, and not realizing that Beige was going to kill her. But even Beige took a long time to gain her trust and becoming the head of the security. But Kaido, on the other hand, is not like that. The majority of his crew is all enemy captains who are beaten up into submission. He always tortures them and he breaks their spirit and then he makes them follow him. Now, this is a very interesting strategy that a lot of pirates and a lot of people in the real life follow. But this is a double-edged sword because a lot of people on his crew right now have a vendetta against him. So if they see weakness, if they see a chance to jump him, they will jump him because they were all enemies at one point and they were beaten into submission. He tried the same thing with Kid and Luffy, and of course they didn't bend to his will. So Hawkins, Apu, all of these people have their own will and they will betray him at some point. So we could see his authoritarian, his principle, his ideology backfire against him with this kind of strategy. So I'm very interested to see if the Beast Pirates will turn on each other, and that's one thing that I'm looking forward to. The next thing that I'm looking forward to is, of course, Marco. Now, Marco was able to hold off King and Queen and launch Zoro back into the roof. Now, a lot of people were confused. How is Marco able to, fight both of them? But let's be clear, he did not fight both of them. He just held off both of them long enough for him to get Zoro to the roof. Now, in a one-on-one fight, he is going to have his hands full against King or Queen. Let's face it. He's not strong enough to take on both of them. That would be insanely OP. So I want to see where that fight is going to lead to. My intuition tells me that Sanji is going to take on Queen because Queen has a lot of history with Windsmoke Judge and he has a lot of modifications in his body. So I do expect him to have a confrontation with Sanji's raid suit, which is also a modification, versus Queen. That will be a very interesting fight. And unfortunately, I do see Nico Robin and Black Maria have a fight, and that would be where Sanji escapes and go fights Queen. This is what a lot of people are predicting, and knowing Oda, I do think that he is not going to go along with what we predicted. So he will surprise us. So that's the most exciting thing about making predictions, is because we're going to be making a lot of predictions, and when the chapter comes out, we will be discussing where everything that we predicted went wrong. So chapter 1001 is just a couple of days away. It's not too long away for us to know if any of these predictions came true. I predict mostly that we will see a fight. If the whole chapter is a fight, that will be awesome as well, because this is a very important fight. This is a historic fight between the Yonko, the older generation, versus the newer generation. The newer generations are going to take over and replace the older generation. So this is a very monumental fight, and I don't want a single part of it to be off screen. So even if the whole chapter is a full-on fight and we didn't get any progress, that will be okay with me too, because we need to see Big Mom actual fight. We need to see Kaido's fight. Now, like I said, I do expect Luffy and company to get the upper hand at first. I do expect them to land a lot of hits, maybe probably even make Big Mom bleed for the very first time. Because right now, Kaido and Big Mom are treating Luffy like a joke. They don't consider him as equals. They don't take him as a threat. They're making fun of him. They're making him say, oh, talk in front of us. Tell me what you were talking about. So they're making fun of him. And it's about time they realize that he's an actual threat. And to make that happen, Luffy is going to do damage to Big Mom. Luffy is going to hurt her. Luffy is going to make her bleed. Luffy is going to hurt Kaido. Luffy is going to make Kaido bleed. That's going to happen on the first half. Afterwards, I do expect everything to turn against them, everything to go wrong. Luffy and company are going to get thrashed. I do expect everything to go downhill, and then again it's going to go uphill. So this is like a roller coaster ride for the fight, and I'm here for it. I'm gonna love it, and I do expect to see Big Mom having awakening, her haki. Both of them need to go full on out. We have barely seen anything from these two Yonko, even though we had a lot of screen time with Big Mom. So I'm looking forward to chapter 1001. We'll do a review and we'll catch up on predictions. We'll see how well we predicted in a coming video. Thank you for watching this video. If you have anything to comment, please comment below. I will catch you on the review of chapter 1001.